The air conditioning is the biggest culprit of dehydration. People fly on planes. It's loaded with air conditioning. And the more you're on it, and then they're drinking all the stuff they're drinking, alcohol and whatever, coffee, and they're getting more and more dehydrated. And that's when I realized one of the major factors of why people get jet lag. Many people that fly across the planet get jet lag for about a week. They all like wiped out and kind of like no energy and all that type of thing. And when I realized that, I'm like, oh my goodness me. It's the major factor is dehydration. And then there's another point that I also know about, and that's low oxygen levels in the plane.
Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck. Of course, I'm always here with you every week. And I want to get right into it because I'm excited for today's episode. You know, this is a topic that is so important and also really too little discussed, or at least not discussed in detail. And that's why we're here. I have a fabulous expert for you to meet. She's trained as a detox specialist and has helped thousands of people as a nutritionist thanks to her understanding of the importance of quality supplementation to assist the body with detoxification and proper function. In 1995, in her home country of South Africa, she started Sunshine Vitamins to provide a full range of high-quality nutritional supplements throughout the country. In 2003, she moved to the U.S. and brought her company's flagship product, Instant CalMag-C. Fundamentally, she believes her purpose is to help others understand what she does, that healthy living is happy living. Her goal is a drug-free, stress-free, and healthy world. So without further ado, I give you all Desiree Lotz.
Hi.
Desiree, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Just very hot here in Florida, but I'm good.
Yeah, well, it's been really unseasonably warm in New York too. So
Dehydration City,
for air conditioning. Right, exactly. Dehydration City, and yet I'm grateful for the air conditioning. You know, we'll get to that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always like to start with our guest stories, but I want to minimize the interruption. So let's tell our members what they're getting this week before we get to your story. So members, your recipe this week is for Mediterranean bulgur and veggie salad. It's a great one for the season. It's hearty, but also really light and super delicious. I'm also sending you the recipe for the dressing, which I think might become a fast favorite in your house. So could be something, honestly, you could put it on anything and just change it up. So I think it's going to be a staple in your refrigerator. And members, because it's June, the last month of the quarter, it's time for your quarterly live Q&A. So we're going back to the one-on-one format. So in your email, you can click the link to book whatever time option is most convenient for you. And I can't wait to catch up with you. Or if you're a newer member, I cannot wait to chat with you one-on-one. So if you'd like to connect live, just you and me, I'd love nothing more, by the way. And if you think this recipe sounds good, make sure you're a member. Here's what you do. Go to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. For $10 a month, you get weekly recipes, a monthly article or tool, extra discounts from me and our partners, plus access to live Q&A sessions. It's a total deal. When you take advantage of the full offerings, you're saving far more than that $10 cost. So seriously, a no-brainer way to show yourself that your health is a priority. Plus, by being a member, you're supporting this podcast, this community, so that we can continue bringing you new episodes and experts every week. All right, remember, all you have to do, glow.fm/salad with a side of fries, or just click the link in the show notes. Once you're there, you click support now, enter your email and payment method, click subscribe, and you're done. You'll get this week's recipe for the Mediterranean bulgur and veggie salad and the details for your one-on-one live Q&A with me. All right, Desiree, tell us your story from, growing up in South Africa to becoming a nutritionist, starting a supplement company, and how dehydration and hydration, for that matter, became such a big focus for your work.
Well, it's interesting because we grew up eating healthy food. We didn't go out to restaurants or to takeouts or any like that. We made food at home, and all of us kids could cook. So we had to do that. And so my basic life was lived like that. And because the soil and everything is so much healthier there, we got a lot of nutrition, and the food was loaded with minerals and everything. So that was good. And then eventually I had some kids, and of course I breastfed them as long as I could. And I personally took brewer's yeast as part of build-up of my own supply of, just good body stuff, because brewer's yeast has got all the B vitamins in balance because it's a food. It's not a chemically formulated thing. And that was very good. And my kids, I gave them that as well. And then there's a detox program that I was trained in to deliver, which I did. And a very key part of it, because you're detoxing, it's on vitamins and stuff. You're getting people the drugs and stuff out of their bodies. And so it's a vitamin formula and stuff that you give them. And CalMag is a key part of that. But also you have to, because the person is sitting in the sauna for several hours getting rid of the toxins, me as the in charge of that, I have to keep a very close eye that they're not getting dehydrated, because in an extreme case, dehydration can be dangerous. You can die. So it's it's very important that I had to keep an eye on that. Obviously, people mostly knew, but sometimes people weren't alert to it, and they'd have the odd symptoms. And then because they didn't know what those symptoms were, if they said something to me, I'm like, hydration. Anyway, so then one time, then a local place that was delivering this program, they ran out of the B vitamins. They couldn't get the vitamin B1, which is a key part of the program. And there's no ways I'm allowing that to happen. So I drove all over Johannesburg to nutrition, health food stores, pharmacies, to go and see if I could find B1, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm like, I got like suspicious, like, big pharma. They, stopping the vitamin supply. So I got on the phone to the laboratory in another city that actually made the vitamins. And I called him and I said to the guy, why can't I get B1? And then he told me that they'd all gone out on tender, which is like when people have ordered it, but the hospitals had ordered it for the alcoholics. And then I just like, that's cool. That totally makes sense to me. So he said, well, why don't I go over to the warehouse in Johannesburg and go and see if they've got any B1, which I did. I drove over there, and South Africa is way more relaxed than America. So I arrived there and I went in, and the lady said, oh, no, sorry, we all sold out. This is a big warehouse. So I said to her, please do me a favor. Take me to the shelf where you keep it in the warehouse. So she did. And there were 6 little bottles sitting on the shelf. And to her, that was nothing, I guess. But to me, I said, oh, my goodness, can I buy those? She said, sure. And I did. Then I made a decision. I was never letting that happen again. So then I started my business. I started to make the B vitamin, all the different B vitamins. Niacin, which is B3, is a major part of the program because that's how you get radiation out the body. Anyway, so I started the business. And at that point, I was making there was the part of the program was calcium, magnesium, and apple cider vinegar. You make this mix, and it's CalMag. So that's what I was doing for a while. And then I had a bunch of people that came to America, and when they came back, they had this instant CalMag. At that point, I was also importing vitamins from America for the program. They said, can't I bring some of that in for them? So I'm like, okay. So I ordered a dozen bottles and brought them in. And before I'd sell anything, I always try it myself. So I tried the CalMag, and I'm like, this is junk. I'm not using this. I'm sticking with, but they wanted it, so I served them. Anyway, so then what happened was another shipment got confiscated by our so-called FDA. Ours is called Medicines Control Council. It's MCC for short. And I mean, that was a whole evolution, and that I could not get my order back. And, when you're a small company just starting, this was very dramatic for me. Anyway, so then what I did was I got the laboratory in Johannesburg to start making all the vitamins for me. and to make the CalMag, the instant one, kind of like the other one that I was importing. And when I tried that, I'm like, whoa, this is good stuff. What is it? Years later, I found out why it was different and better and all that. But at that point, I didn't know. But then it was like, whoa, I'm going to make this stuff. And that's how the CalMag started. And it became my baby. So it's kind of like, and the forms of calcium, the calcium gluconate that's in the CalMag is a very specific type of calcium and magnesium carbonate. And instead of the apple cider vinegar, now we use vitamin C. And the whole point of it is that calcium and magnesium are alkaline, and your body can't absorb those because it needs to be in the mid-range pH. So it's kind of, and if it's in the correct range, the body can absorb it. So the vitamin C adjusts the pH and puts it in the mid-zone so the body can absorb it. Otherwise, it will deposit behind your eyes, in your kidneys, so you want it in the body to be used properly. And then the other thing that I found out, even before I did the instant CalMag, when I went into labor with my son almost 40 years ago, my husband made a big 2 liters of the other CalMag, the one with the apple cider vinegar. And we took it to the hospital with me. And I drank about 3/4 of that. You know how much pain I had in that labor?
How much?
0.
Yeah.
0.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
0. And it was like, oh my goodness. Then I learned later in life that the calcium gluconate is the most potent painkiller. It's even more potent than morphine. So it's like, whoa, you learn these things through your own experience and stuff and observations. Anyway, so that's basically how the CalMag came about. And then with me being a detox specialist, having to watch these people, I knew we had to give them salt and cell salts, which is those tissue salts, which got about 12 minerals in them. So that was a key part of the program too. And I also gave those to my kids when they were little, let them take as much as they wanted.
Yeah. So this actually brings up sort of, our topic for today, which is this whole piece of dehydration and rehydration. But I think it's very confusing for a lot of us and overlooked and then confused with other things, right? So let's start maybe with symptoms of dehydration. Like, how can we know in our everyday lives if we're actually truly dehydrated?
Okay, I've got a list here and it's almost 40.
Okay, we don't have to do all of them. Give us the big hitters.
I'll tell you the main ones here. I'm going to so extreme thirst, fuzzy thinking, sinus problems, sore throat, allergies, coughing, headaches, cold and flu, sneezing, excessive urination, blood pressure issues. This is a key thing, blood pressure issues, achy muscles, dizzy, lightheaded, tired, fatigued, lacking energy, can't sleep, nervous, can't relax, even depressed, feeling upset, sad, appetite loss, and there's more.
Yeah. What do you think are the ones that are most overlooked or that people don't associate with dehydration from that list?
Oh my goodness me. Well, you know what? I've had to help people. There's aggravated asthma or chest complaints.
Yes.
That's, I think, a key thing. And I think the things that people overlook is like even can't sleep, lacking energy, nervous, can't relax, metabolism problems. There's just like dry mouth, dry skin, heavy-headed, racing heart, increased body temperature, sore throat, sinus problems. I do muscle testing. I don't know if your audience knows what that is.
I'm familiar. I don't know if everybody is. If you could do a quick primer.
Okay, so basically it's kind of based on Chinese meridian points of your body and based on like Chinese ways of doing things. So you've got all these different points on your body. And if you hold the person's arm up strong and make sure it's strong and it's not falling down. Okay, so when I know it's strong, then I can test certain parts of the body. And if the arm goes down, then you know that part of the body needs attention. So for example, let's say touch the liver and it goes down, then I check in to see what the person's body is asking for. And the key point that I use, well, obviously I test calcium magnesium points, which is on the cheekbones. There's certain spots. And then the hydration point, And this is the first thing I always test. And 99% of people I test are dehydrated. You know, the top of the head when the baby's born and the skull joins there? It's called the fontanelle. That point is the point I use to test. And if the arm goes down and 99% of them go down, then I'd show people because I want people to see for themselves. So then let's say they dehydrated. Then I'll take some water, good quality water, and I'll test to see if the arm goes strong again. And 99% of the time it doesn't. Because what's lacking, and especially in America and probably worldwide now, the soil is so deprived of minerals. That's another story I could get into, but basically it's totally deprived of minerals. So you're not getting it in your vegetables, you're not getting it in your meat you eat because it's not in the soil, so it's not there to move along into the food and stuff. So basically, I test them with that. And obviously, because the arm goes weak, still on the hydration point, I then show them how dehydration works. And the thing that I personally use in my drinking water, all my drinking water, my bottles that I carry with me, it's got decent quality water and Celtic sea salt.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that.
Okay.
Because I want to dig into some of this dehydration stuff. So you talked about muscle testing.
Yes.
And, some of those symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think for people to realize a lot of the causes of the dehydration, I think also helps us understand how prevalent it is too.
Okay.
Right? So what are some of the common causes of dehydration?
Well, alcohol, too much coffee, and sugar is a big culprit. And refined carbs is a big culprit because refined carbs also convert to sugar in the body. These are all your main enemies of your body. I mean, most people know these things, but people don't always think the thought through or know all the. So, for example, refined carbs convert to sugar in the body, and all kinds of. There's so many things I could go into on those subjects, but basically, those are your main dehydrators. And then another actual dehydrator, believe it or not, is Gatorade, and those drinks they are loaded with sugar, so they are going to worsen the problem. So the whole point is I educate people on getting away from the chemical Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola. All these things are really, really bad for you. And so many people, I walk around, I see lots of people drinking Coca-Cola, and those are all big dehydrators. And if they understood that they were dehydrators, they may not be drinking so much and they may be compensating with water with the salt, but they don't know. So they're thirsty, so they drink more. And unfortunately, besides that aspect of it, for example, Coca-Cola is loaded with phosphoric acid. So what it does is it eats your teeth, it eats your bones because it's got too much phosphorus in it, and you can use Coca-Cola to clean your car engine. It's that crazy. Yeah. So those are the main things.
I think too, like we were talking about before, the air conditioning and the heat.
Right? You want me to get onto that subject? Well, you know what? I'm a or a detox specialist, so I have to watch people, like I said, and so I go on course in a room where the air conditioning, especially here in Florida, it obviously has to be pretty cool. And I've flown around the world many times and all kinds of stuff like that. And what I saw one day was I'm sitting in the course room and comfortable, and there's people in the course room, but after about an hour or so, the room is getting more and more uncomfortable. Then I see people standing at the air conditioner button and making it colder and colder. And suddenly I get this epiphany. Oh my goodness, the air conditioning is the biggest culprit of dehydration. People fly on planes. It's loaded with air conditioning. And the more you're on it, and then they're drinking all the stuff they're drinking, alcohol and whatever, coffee, and they're getting more and more dehydrated. And that's when I realized one of the major factors of why people get jet lag. Many people that fly across the planet get jet lag for about a week. They all like wiped out and kind of like no energy and all that type of thing. And when I realized that, I'm like, oh my goodness me, It's the major factor is dehydration. And then there's another point that I also know about, and that's low oxygen levels in the plane.
Mm-hmm.
And the solution for that is vitamin E. The hydration and the vitamin E are key points for people flying. But for people living or working in an air-conditioned environment, or even when it's winter and you go up north, I guess in New York, you guys also have the fires going, and that also is dehydrating. It's all going to be dehydrating you. And because it's winter, a lot of people don't think they need water or whatever. And then they're getting more and more dehydrated. And then you're going to have all kinds of things. You're going to have all these body issues. Let's use blood pressure as an example. And what happens is they end up being put on blood pressure medication, or if they're depressed, they're getting put on psychiatric medication. And the whole problem gets worse and worse and worse. Then they get side effects of that medication and more and more and more to handle all the side. It's just a crazy, non-stop, insane situation. So the best thing, and this is where the more I educate people on this, the more they understand it, the better they do and the better they feel. I had a lady here from France many, many years ago, and her blood pressure was so high, she was not allowed into a particular building. And somehow she knew about me or found out about me, and she came to see me, and I tested her. And I can't show you because I'm not visible on the thing, but I've got these little glass ampoules. So you know what an ampoule is? It's like a little glass, and it's pure seawater from over in the sea on the other side by France and over there, probably the Celtic Sea as well. And it's pure salt water. And I tested her and she needed 8 of those. Then she called her doctor in France, who said to her, no, your blood pressure, you can't take that. Salt. You know how the whole thing about salt.
Yep.
Such false data. Anyway, she didn't listen to him. She listened to me. And she took 8 of them. The next day, her blood pressure was way down and she could go into that building. So it's like when these doctors, or I'm not being negative about all doctors, but the training and stuff, the salt that they are talking about is that white junk you buy in the supermarket. That salt basically is one part. Salt, like the Celtic sea salt, has got about 80 minerals in it. So it's got all the minerals. So, but that white salt has just got one part, sodium chloride, that's been extracted from the salt and bleached and refined. So never mind the fact that you're getting this. I want to use some swear words, but I'm not going to.
You can. I mark all of them explicit. Go for it.
This crap. And that is dangerous for the body. It's dangerous for many things. So to have the real salt with all the aspects of it is healthy, and it actually keeps your blood pressure stable, like that lady. Her blood pressure just went way down. So it's so important to know that.
I want to ask you too, because I think similar to confusion and things like that, I think what often happens for people too is that we confuse thirst for hunger. And I have some ideas for this, but I'm curious to hear with your expertise, why is that?
Well, because the body's looking for this aspect. It's looking for this thing that we're talking about.
Yep.
And so you might misunderstand it and say, okay, I've got to go and eat some McDonald's fries or whatever the heck, And very often people will buy crisps that have got salt in them, but they don't know. Or, go for a salty popcorn or something, but they don't connect the dots on it. And that's not good, because that salt and even those refined crisps and stuff are bad. I mean, I don't get into that too much, but as long as you're well fed, you've eaten well, eaten the right foods, and you're hydrated, like I have 2 cups of coffee a day. I enjoy it. So I'm not going to stop that, but I keep myself hydrated so that I can enjoy it and don't pay the price.
Right. Well, so that's perfect. So I want to shift into the rehydration after a quick message for our partner from this episode. From our partner for this episode, English is good for me. All right, here we go. Snap cleaning products. Make household and industrial cleaning a snap with their eco-friendly, economical, multi-purpose Snap products. Snap's concentrated multi-purpose formulas perform light to industrial strength jobs all in one bottle. Snap products give you the cleaning power of a variety of cleaners, saving you time, money, and valuable storage space. And Snap products were developed with the environment in mind, using plant-based ingredients that are biodegradable, phosphate-free, non-toxic, and bottled in recyclable containers. So maybe you did your spring cleaning, or maybe you need to, because you did it, you got to restock. Maybe you're just getting to your spring cleaning. Either way, I highly recommend you take a look at the Snap Pack. It gives you the triple enzyme laundry detergent, dishwashing liquid, fabric softener, heavy-duty concentrate, all-purpose natural concentrate, scouring deep cleanser, disinfectant cleanser, and the accessory pack, which gives you 3 flip tops, 2 spray bottles, a plunger, a sprayer, and 1 home and shop cloth. By the way, the plunger is like for the bottle, not for a toilet. Everything you need comes in the Snap Pack. So it's everything you need to keep your home clean and safe from harmful toxins and chemicals. So with the Snap Pack, you can actually swap out everything, all of your products in your house, in one fell swoop for a whopping $78.50. And because everything is so highly concentrated, this is going to last you a while. Also, that price is before your 10% off and free shipping, thanks to being a Salad with a Side of Fries listener. So text the word CLEAN, CLEAN, to 844-947-4846. You'll receive the link and coupon code right to your phone. Again, simply text the word CLEAN to 844-947-4846. This is a toll-free number. Standard text and data rates may apply. All right, Desiree, back to you. Let's talk about rehydration. So you mentioned minerals and Celtic sea salt. So talk us through why they're so important, what they have to do with the rehydration, and where we find them.
Okay, so basically there are a few, there's Himalayan pink salt and all that, but I prefer the Celtic sea salt because I know it's got iodine in because it comes from the sea. And iodine is very, very important for the thyroid and stuff, which is part of your metabolism operation. So what I do is I've got drinking bottles next to my bed in my car with water and Celtic sea salt. The Celtic sea salt's got about 80 minerals in it. And these are all the minerals the body needs. And the way I do it is I show people, you take your your water bottle and you put enough salt in so the water tastes pleasant to you. Because your amount needed and my amount needed and everybody is going to be different. So make sure it tastes pleasant to you, not too salty and not flat tasting, because that means it's not enough minerals. And then after a while you get, so I can't drink water without my salt because it tastes horrible. And even with babies, I had my kids many years back now, I had the tissue salts. I didn't know about this aspect back then, but you've got to be sure they're hydrated because all kinds of, and the CalMag and the salt or the cell salts are crucial for the body's chemical electrical current. Your electrical current, when it comes in, I'm just going to maybe sidetrack a bit here. The electricity, when it comes into your house, if it's all working good, the electricity works good. Your computer works, your lights work, and it's all good. When there's any interference, there can be flickering and in varying degrees, and in the worst case, a blackout. Now, a blackout can be compared to body death. So basically, the electrical current of the body is created by the minerals. So if you have all the right minerals and everything's working, then the message can go from the central nervous system, which is sitting in your skull. So the examples I use is this. So let's say you put your finger on the hot stove and your electrical current is good and you're hydrated and everything's working so that your electricity is good in your body. So the message will go from your finger into your central nervous system, and the message will come back like, get that finger off the stove, and it'll be fast, and you won't burn. But if you're dehydrated and your electrical current is not functioning, then what happens is by the time the message gets to your finger, and you already burnt your finger. Another story that I tell people is, let's say your electrical current is working not good, and you step out in the road and there's a car coming, bam, it hits you. But if your electrical current is working good, you step out, you see it, you jump back. Good, all good. And that's how the electrical current of the body works. And it has to have this functioning constantly, and the minerals is what creates that electrical current. So it's very important. I mean, even if you've got problem in your kidneys or your adrenals, these signals all work and communicate with each other. So then you know you need to do that. And almost every condition that I've tested people on, and I mean, if they've got liver problems and stuff, obviously there's something going on there, but fundamental is always the hydration. So to stay hydrated is so important. And not only that, but if you're hydrated and you're taking like CalMag or something, then your stress levels are going to be way down and you're not going to get into all kinds of conflicts with your wife or your kids or whatever. You're going to be much more relaxed and calm. Whereas if you're deficient in those, oh my goodness, you start punching people or whatever, people start.
Well, and stress depletes those minerals too. So
exactly, it aggravates it. Yes. So that's kind of like really important to stay hydrated and make sure you've got the minerals the body needs to function properly.
And so what I'm hearing, right, is that hydration and rehydration is about much more than water.
Absolutely. That's a good point because people, can drinking water dehydrate you? I ask people that question. And the answer is yes. Because what happens is you drink, you pee, you drink, you pee, you drink, you pee. So what's happening is all of that, you're losing more and more and more minerals. So if you're getting the minerals through the salt or whatever, the minerals pull into the cells of the body. It's kind of like holding a very dry sponge under the faucet and the water just goes straight through it. And that's what is happening in the body. So if you've got your minerals, then the body's getting all those minerals and it's not getting dehydrated.
Yeah, so that brings up, and what you were talking about before, as far as like the idea of the electrical current. And I think you mentioned Gatorade before, but I think this begs the question of saying, can we use this as an opportunity, I think, to talk about electrolytes? Because I get this question all the time, not just about electrolyte drinks, but really understanding what electrolytes are and where we want to get them from. And I'd love to have you also speak about why Gatorade is poison. But
okay. So basically, electrolytes. If you're getting a good quality electrolyte, my company is also going to be presenting in the not too distant future some electrolytes. Electrolytes basically are minerals. It hasn't got all the minerals that you get in the salt, but it varies between the different products. And generally speaking, I'm much more of a fan of the Celtic sea salt because I know I'm getting all the minerals. And even the little tissue salts I mentioned earlier, even those are also decent because you'll get minerals that way. And I never stop my kids even from having those minerals, and I never stop anybody. They would take them and take them and take them and take them. And while they keep dissolving in your mouth, your body needs them. When they stop dissolving, then at that point, you've enough for now. Because it's like they're absorbing, and then when it stops, because it's not dissolving, then okay, good to go. And so your kids will never overdose. They will take as much as they need and want, and they will be much happier and calmer as kids. I mean, basically, just based on the CalMag alone, I started my kids the day they were born. In their drinking water, I would make the CalMag. I never had crying babies. I never had teething babies. I never had babies that didn't sleep. And people thought I was, what's weird about me?
Right.
But you know what the thing is, if they're getting those minerals, like for example, when my kids were teething, I didn't know they were teething. The first I found out, for example, when my son was teething, when I stuck my finger in his mouth and he bit it, and the tooth went, So basically, if they're getting all that, they're also going to grow up very much more comfortable and happier and calm, all that type of thing. Sleep well. I never knew, like if I had my children on a bottle at some point, if they went in the night, I was instantly next to their beds and fed them or hydrated them. So I never had upset crying babies. And if I look around me through my life, it's interesting. So that's very, very important.
So when it comes for all of us to get these electrolytes, right?
Yeah.
And electrolytes are essentially the minerals, but we want to get that from calcium, magnesium, the Celtic sea salt, your CalMag. What is it about the Gatorade that you vehemently dislike? I'm curious if it's the same things I dislike.
Okay. Probably might be the same thing. So What's in them is a lot of chemicals
Mm-hmm.
and bad chemicals, and there's a lot of sugar in them. I don't have to get into even that. Just the sugar alone is a big dehydrator. So, and if you look at the chemicals, you don't want chemicals. You want to get as close to natural and nature as possible. And that's always my philosophy, because when you get close to nature, you are living well. When you get
Yep.
into all this chemical stuff, you are moving away from healthy living.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because even the sugar-free ones, right? Because that's what I hear from people next is like, well, I drink the sugar-free one.
So
And
what
it's, well,
have
that
I
one
used to
too.
compensate
Right,
for the
exactly,
taste?
right.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to go there.
Right. Curious also your thoughts on seltzer water, or club soda.
I actually haven't looked into those, but here's something that I will tell you. Anything that's carbonated like that pulls the minerals out your body. It
Yep.
creates a vacuum and it sucks it out. So generally speaking, carbonated type of things are going to have that effect on you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love this. We could keep going, but let's wrap it up and go to our rapid fire. Anything we missed or a final thought?
Well, just the one thing I know is if you keep your body healthy, then mentally and physically you're in a good condition and you can be more exterior. You can be more out there. Whereas if your body is all, you are introverted and you're going to feel more unhappy and all that. So the happiness starts with a healthy body and a healthy mind. And that all works together.
I love that. Couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for our rapid fire off topic questions?
Maybe. Right. Let's give it a shot.
All right. They're easy, I promise.
Uh,
What's the best thing you've done for your health this week? What's the naughtiest thing you've done related to your health this week?
the best thing I've done is drank enough water.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I've made in my bullet, I made some raw vegetables with brewer's yeast and lecithin and water and yummy. And that's good for my body. And
what's the naughtiest thing? Yeah.
let me see. Naughtiest thing. Oh, no, but that wasn't bad. I had some keto chocolate cake.
Sounds delicious. Right.
That's about as close as I get to naughty. Oh, and there's an ice cream that I like that I'll have every now and then.
Nice. If you weren't a nutritionist, a detox expert, and the founder of CalMag-C, what would you do?
I'd probably be doing the detox thing, or I'd be running somebody's business as an office administrator or office manager type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Your favorite book on any topic other than your area of expertise or fiction? A fiction book could work too.
Does it have to be a book?
Yes.
Oh,
well, no. Okay. I'm curious now. What you got?
Secondhand Lions and Invictus. 2 movies.
Okay. Oh, movie. Okay. Got it.
Invictus and
Yes.
and Secondhand Lions. I love Secondhand Lions.
I'm going to look for them now. All right. If you could cure one ailment, disease, or sickness, what would it be?
Mental.
Mm-hmm. If you were a superhero, what would be your superpower?
Helping people, helping them get out of the dredge they're in or the problem they're experiencing, and getting them off drugs and all kinds of stuff like that.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Do you really want me to say that?
Yes. Now I'm really curious.
Yeah. Psychiatrists.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Finally, in your opinion, what's the next frontier in wellness?
Well, we have to get the GMOs off the planet. We have to
Please.
get our soil back as it was originally, and we have to grow our vegetables and no more chemicals added to them.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again for being here. Just appreciate your effort, your energy, your expertise. Tell everybody how to connect with you and where to learn more.
Okay, so they can email me. It's info at calmag-c.com.
Yeah.
And you can call me at 727-642-8087. But because we're getting so many spam calls these days, hopefully It might be better to
We'll
text
put
me.
the link to the website in the show notes too for everybody.
Okay, yeah, because I don't take every call anymore because it's been so insane. But if I know who it is, I always answer and I always help. So it's kind of one of those thingies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Do you have another minute to hang out for our nutrition nugget?
Yeah.
Awesome. This week, we're talking about hibiscus. So this one came about because my new favorite tea is called Balanced Belly Tea. And I was like, what's in this thing? So it's a whole combination of ingredients that's powerful for gut health and gut comfort, as well as skin health. But I started digging into all the botanicals, and the primary one in it is hibiscus. So I wanted to fill you all in. So to start, hibiscus is the genus of the flowering plant is the mallow family, but it's really popular because of its colors and like the shape of the flowers is like a trumpet shape. So usually like the technical name is Hibiscus sabdarifa, I think if I'm saying it right. Also sometimes known as roselle. And there are a whole bunch of varieties of hibiscus. I think the one that's most common has like that red color and used to flavor herbal teas. The red variety, like I said, seems to be the most popular, but there are other varieties that range in color from beige to rose to yellow. And the colors actually give us slightly different flavors. So the lighter colors tend to be more tart. The darker colors have a more robust flavor. So think about that too. If you're using your tea, right, the longer you steep it, the darker the color. So that could potentially impact too, the flavor, from the hibiscus. So hibiscus has been used for a really long time. Like this is not new. Some research shows hibiscus dating back to like the 1700s. And every part of this flower is used, like the seeds, the flower, the leaves, the stems. You'll see it in food products and traditional medicines, mostly because hibiscus is rich in antioxidants like beta carotene, vitamin C, and anthocyanins. So the research on it, though, I'll run through some of it, but I want to preface this by saying it's mostly with extracts, not necessarily like with tea, like we would really have it, mostly on animals. There are only a few studies on humans that are also pretty small. So prefacing all this to say we definitely need more research. So with that understanding, let's look at what's been shown. So in one study on rats, hibiscus extract increased the number of antioxidant enzymes and reduced the harmful effects of free radicals by up to 92%. Another rat study showed similar findings and documented that the leaves possess potent antioxidant properties. So because of the antioxidants and the polyphenols, we could say that hibiscus combats inflammation and may have some anti-cancer properties. Now, again, keep in mind these were animal studies using concentrated doses of hibiscus extract. And like I keep saying, more studies are needed to really determine how the antioxidants in hibiscus tea might affect humans, right? Going back to the polyphenols, so these are compounds that have been shown to have the anti-cancer properties. So test tube studies have found results that potential effects of hibiscus extract on cancer cells, specifically mouth and plasma cell cancers, prostate cancer. And again, remember, these were test tube studies using high amounts of hibiscus extract. So not on humans, not necessarily the effect we could expect from hibiscus tea either. And you'll hear claims about hibiscus lowering blood pressure. We talked a lot about blood pressure in this week's episode. Studies show an impact on both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. And you'll also probably hear people say that it's not quite significant enough. I think that depends on what you're comparing it to. So there was one study on people, it was 65 people that concluded a significant impact that compared hibiscus tea to placebo. And so it seems though medications are more impactful on blood sugar than the tea, but there's also the possibility of some interaction between the two. So if blood pressure is a thing for you, speak to your pharmacist. Don't just start adding hibiscus tea and see what happens. So speak to your health professionals. And then you may hear also hibiscus for cholesterol and blood fat levels. So hibiscus may help maintain healthy cholesterol, but of course, we need more research on this. But there was a study on 60 people with diabetes who were given either hibiscus tea or black tea for 1 month. Those given the hibiscus tea experienced increased good cholesterol, so that's the HDL, and decreased bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, and decreased total cholesterol and triglycerides. Another study looked at those with metabolic syndrome, which we talk about here all the time. That showed that taking 100 milligrams of hibiscus extract daily was associated with decreased total cholesterol and increased good, or your HDL cholesterol. So while this sounds great, there are also studies showing completely conflicting results. There was a review of 6 studies that total, I think it was about 475 patients, which concluded that hibiscus tea did not significantly reduce blood cholesterol or triglyceride levels. So again, we need more research. It's really the bottom line. But I also think that provided there are no allergies or potential interactions with medication, might be worth trying. You know, more large-scale studies examining the effects of hibiscus tea on blood cholesterol, triglycerides, all these kinds of things. Frankly, everything we've talked about are really needed. And again, remember, a lot of these things were, you know, is it the hibiscus extract that's more helpful versus tea and things like that? There was some research showing an impact on weight and body composition, though. So this study gave 36 overweight participants either hibiscus extract or placebo. After 12 weeks, the hibiscus extract group showed reduced body weight, reduced body fat, reduced body mass index, and reduced hip to waist ratio. Another study over 60 days gave obese mice hibiscus extract and saw similar results. So, of course, we need more research on humans, looking at tea versus extracts. 2 more things, though, to address, because you'll probably hear hibiscus is antibacterial. So there are some test tube studies that show hibiscus extract kept certain kinds of bacteria from overgrowth, like E. coli. Another one showed similarly effective as some medications used to treat bacterial infections. So again, these were test tubes, not even animals, not humans. And then finally, there were several studies connecting hibiscus to liver health. So this potentially tracks with the antioxidant and polyphenol content that we talked about before. One study looked at hamsters and found treatment with hibiscus extract decreased markers of liver damage. Another study gave rats hibiscus extract, and it showed an increase of up to 65% in the concentration of a variety of liver enzymes responsible for drug detoxification. So there was a very small human study of 19 people. They were all overweight. They were given hibiscus extract for 12 weeks and showed an improvement in fat stored in the liver. And as many of us know, fat stored in the liver has been shown to lead to liver failure. So on the whole, with the research, right, I think it's interesting. I'm not sure how much of it we can really translate to the hibiscus in my tea, given that I'm a human. It's tea, not extract, that I'm having. But nevertheless, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to keep drinking it, I think, when I feel like having tea. So as long as you're not allergic, you could try hibiscus tea. I'll put a link in the show notes to the one that I'm loving right now. It also has fennel and cardamom, orange peel, dandelion root, nettle leaf, lemon balm. It tastes better than it sounds. And I like how I feel when I drink it. Those are actually great botanicals for gut health and skin health. And then you may also find hibiscus powder in your health food store. So to make the powder, they dry the plant and then finally grind it up. And you could mix it into water to make a drink. I would say you really want to you could look in your health food store for the extracts. But again, with the extract and with the powder, the dosing of it, we're not super sure. Those could be quite strong. So I would say speak to your pharmacist, speak to your health professionals so that you know what you're doing as far as dosage and everything is safe. So if it were me, I'd stick to the tea. There you have it. That's hibiscus. Desiree, anything to add?
I love the sound of that, and add some ginger into it, and I'm close.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. Well, Desiree, thank you again for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed this with you, Jen.
Likewise. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram. Actually, all social media. I'm at Jenn Trepeck, JennTrepeck. Website is asaladwithasideoffries.com. Reach out to me on either place. I just want to hear your key takeaways, your questions, your ideas. These are also the easiest ways to learn more about working with me. Of course, if you're not already a member, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/saladwithasideoffries. This supports this podcast, this community, but most importantly, it truly supports your health. You'll get this week's recipe for the Mediterranean bulgur and veggie salad and details for your one-on-one live session with me. So until next week, remember, hydration is critical for health, and it's about more than just fluids. So be sure that you're replenishing those minerals healthfully. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.